somewhere in like the mix of the roaches that are just in that anniversary glass, the Jose Peppers anniversary glass, is somewhere randomly some of the lemon shit. It's in there somewhere. I rolled a joint with it, and there's like a little tiny bit left, but you'll never know which one it is. I guess you know whenever you hit it a little bit, but
throw open the sink.
You just hit it just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
It's just so tiny and little. It fits right in your mouth. Little bits.
Mosquito in here. I don't get ate up at all outside, but now
when you're
I
inside,
have.
Just wait for him to land on you. You got to get him.
I missed him.
We had to have one bug interaction. We're 3 weeks in a row now.
I did the same shit the other night. There was a spider that Savannah was like freaked out about, and I just went and like got it and like let it loose. You have to kill shit.
Yeah, as long as it's the one that you don't want to pick up and then it bites you and you get staph or whatever.
Girls be all about that though. Just like kill it. Like,
bro,
hey, just let it outside. And
bro,
like,
we live in Missouri. Like nothing out here is gonna kill you. Even the poisonous shit isn't gonna fucking kill you.
Brown recluse bite would suck. You just go to the hospital.
I'm pretty sure I've had a bite from a brown recluse because it looked really inflamed and all that and went away in a couple days.
Nice. No hospital needed.
Yeah, no. If you get your dick, that'd be one thing.
Yeah. I think I had chiggers on when I was younger, like in my...
Everybody said
area.
chiggers.
I was like, in my dick.
Oh, in the dick area?
Yeah. It was not good. Remember just scratching.
Jesse's got a weird story about a tick.
I was about to bring that up, actually. I was in a group called Royal Rangers, which a lot of people don't know about, but it's like the Christian version of Boy Scouts. And I went on a week-long trip, I'm pretty sure at Table Rock? I was at Table Rock Lake in, what is that, like southern Missouri?
Great Lake. I was just saying it's a great lake.
It's a great lake.
Not one of the Great Lakes, but
like,
it's a great lake.
No, I didn't go up that far north. But no, there was all the shit. I had ticks throughout the whole thing, but I noticed whenever I was like on the way back that I had a tick right on the end of my penis, like right where the urine comes out of my penis. There's the tick there. And it's like splitting my stream, like all this. And I'm too, like, I know how to deal with the tick. I'm in Royal Rangers. It's like, come on. But this is a different area.
You just pray and the tick falls away.
So I did what any, like 12-year-old fucking kid does and had an awkward moment with my dad to where he tweezed a tick out of the end of my penis, and I've had a little scar from there, which no complaints from any females. It's too small to notice.
The best part about
I see it,
all of that is like our parents knew what to do without cell phones or the internet back then.
My dad was in Vietnam, by the way.
No, for sure.
So if he could pull a tick out,
I remember okay, so I had one like right here, like on your pelvic or whatever that is, like right above the dick, and we should be podcasting about this right now. I guess
is that not what we're doing? I mean, we're not recording.
Yeah, we're recording, and so it was like right above the dick, and there was a tick there as well. And I didn't know what to do. I was young as fuck. That was right around the time I got the chiggers and shit like that. And my dad knew what to do, man. Like I don't remember what he did, but he got rid of it, and he put it on like this metal tray, and then he burnt it or whatever you have to do to get rid of it.
You burn it first because then it unlatches.
Well, it was near my dick, man. He may have with a lighter. Now that I think about it, I can't remember. You know what I'm saying? But they did all that shit without technology. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's like passed on. Think about all the shit that we've lost, just like that should have been passed on.
Like what?
Just like wilderness survival, basic level shit. Like all that. Dude, there's this.
But hold on. Now, with the Boy Scouts, isn't there a big scandal with a whole bunch of like pedophilia going on in the Boy Scouts?
He wasn't going into that part of it, just in general, just nature and like.
Yeah.
And I was never in Boy Scouts. I was in something called Royal Rangers, which.
Boy Scouts Plus.
That's like Green Beret type shit.
It's actually it's regarded higher than the Boy Scouts because it takes more to get. So the Boy Scouts have their highest thing that you can get is the Gold Eagle, I think, or something Eagle Scout. No, it's whenever you become Eagle Scout. That's like the top tier.
Don't you have to do multiple different tiers because you've got like Mikase, which is a completely separate thing, but it's still part of.
What does Mikase?
I have no idea.
That's some
Boy Scout
Freemason shit, Johnny.
That's some Boy Scout stuff, man.
It's a Boy Scout thing.
Okay. No, but Royal Rangers, you had the Gold Medal of Achievement, and the same thing happens whenever you become an Eagle Scout. I think is what it's called on their side. But the gold medal of achievement is actually more difficult to get because you have to do like a bunch of actual biblical research because it's Christian based. So it's like you have to do the same thing as an Eagle Scout, but then they add on a bunch of actual like studies, like Bible study things that you have to pass to on top of it. But no, I remember people getting their gold medal of achievement, which is the same thing as becoming an Eagle Scout over there. No, like President Bush or whatever president would sign your certificate. Like that's been a thing. It
Like
was
legitimately
like a big
sign
deal.
it, or was it like a
Yeah, no, like he signed it.
president's signing a lot of shit? I doubt he actually signs it.
No, 100%. If you look that up, all Eagle Scouts, whenever you become an Eagle Scout and whenever you become, you get your gold medal of achievement, is signed off by the
No
president.
offense,
of
but
the
we're
United
just
States.
wasting the president's time at that point.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a big deal for like young men, and you've now. A lot of people go into the military.
My
after getting-
taxpayer dollars are going to the president sitting on his desk getting a piece of paper for Eagle Scouts coming in to sign off on that shit.
and it takes some
Oh,
like
check this out, man. And we'll deviate a little bit, but when you talk about like the military and stuff like that, I guess the Democrats are trying to pass legislation to where now women will have to enter between the ages of like 21 to 25 or 18 to 25. They will now have to enter into the draft or sign up, register. All women.
The selective service thing that we all had to do when we were 18.
Yeah. And if not, you get a felony if you decide that you don't want to do it. And do they really charge people and put them in jail? No, but you could still end up being a felon if you don't register.
But we'll never have a draft ever again, though.
Sure, but I'm just saying that you brought it up. I mean, you brought up the military. I don't know why it sparked in my head. I just thought that was pretty interesting that now women are forced to do it as well.
Equal rights.
Yeah, 100%.
They realized so much was wrong with the draft whenever they first did it in Vietnam because you don't want people who don't want to fucking fight in a war to go into war.
Right.
Oddly enough, it ends up really bad for you.
Yes.
Like you want trained people willing to do this. There will never be another draft again. And plus, technology's gotten too advanced. You just take a drone and kill fucking 800
we
people.
won't
Right.
see. We won't see a either if we have a World
not-
War. We've talked about this, but if
It's
we
not
have
the
a World
same-
War III,
it's not the same anymore.
it'll either be behind the scenes technology based stuff that we'll never see, or if it were to actually be open all out warfare, it'd be the end of the earth.
But don't you think it's kind of interesting though? I know a lot of people say like when you saw where was that bomb or that explosion that happened a couple months ago, that massive one, and it was like in a.
That was in China, I'm pretty sure.
Or it wasn't in China. It was somewhere else. I forget where it was at, but it was just that massive
The factory-
explosion.
the
Yeah, and they
factory
said
explosion.
They said it was.
Oh,
fireworks.
Oh, it's
Yeah, yeah,
India.
yeah.
It was India, right?
I don't. That doesn't sound right.
It wasn't India either. I mean, it was like I have no idea. But
I know what you're talking about
some-
though, and they said it was like fireworks or some shit like that. And it was a massive fucking explosion.
But what happens if like that's like warfare going on and we don't know about it? I know that's a conspiracy theory, and you see a lot of this shit happen
It's shitty factory work and like low.
for an explosion that big.
Yeah, because they're working in a country that has really low standards for factory work
In regulations, yeah.
and regulations. That's all it is. They're not covering up.
But they've been doing it for years. Why all of a sudden does it just happen now?
Mistakes happen, man.
For
Shit
sure,
happens.
mistakes happen, but that shit hasn't happened in the United States, and maybe because of regulations or in China.
We got OSHA, bro.
Yeah, OSHA, they help out big time. I don't know. Either way, neither here nor there. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where we're going to keep that intro. It's very, very beautiful setup. Here we are tonight, Jesse, Johnny in the house, as they are each and every single week. Appreciate you guys for joining me here in my home abode. What does abode even mean? Did I
Like
say it
home.
right?
Yeah.
You said home abode. What you humble abode. In your humble abode.
I'm supposed to say humble abode.
Yeah, that's the saying.
Okay.
place of living.
In my humble abode, and here we are, man. We're downstairs. We're on a lower level underneath dirt. There's dirt surrounding us, if you kind of think about it. Which is kind of weird to think about. There's dirt. Whatever. But welcome, you guys. Still working on some great stuff for you, but tonight we're going to hit it up a little different, man. We're not trying to be dismal because this world is very, very dismal, man. And me being a bartender and just talking to the massive amount of people, and I know Jesse and Johnny are also in this industry as well, you talk to a lot of people, and it's just overwhelmingly negative, man. Like everything that's going on, especially when you get into politics, and even on our podcast for the past 3 years, we've definitely hit up a lot of negative aspects. We've had good guests on, great, amazing guests, and we've talked about a lot of good stuff and things that are actually impactful in people's lives and important, and that would be helpful. But in majority in your every day-to-day life, it's tough, man. It's hard. Unless you're able to just push this shit away, and you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do in your everyday? Like you I know you don't let any of this stuff get to you.
I mean, you just don't think. Dude, it's all there all the time. As far as like all the shit that we talk about every week, we talk about like government corruption, and we talk about like the wage gap, and we talk about politics and all this different stuff. And like we talk about police brutality, or these videos that we've seen of police doing stuff like throwing the thing of crack into the guy's car, and he catches the police officer on tape throwing drugs into his car or whatever, all this different stuff. But the thing is, we talk about it so much, and it's like, man, I just want to avoid that this week, because we already all know about it. That's the crazy part, is everybody out there fucking knows. Like, we all know about the negativity already.
Even though that makes me want to talk about the Ben Zobrist thing, which I didn't even think about.
Oh yeah, that thing with his
Ben
wife.
Zobrist?
Yeah, did you hear about that?
No,
his
I didn't
ex-wife.
hear about that.
It's a little negative, but I kind of want to talk about it. We could stay positive tonight. We could stay positive.
Yeah, we'll
Even
talk
though it's
about it
gonna bring
after the podcast. We can hit it up for sure.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying is, like, how do you avoid that? So I know I can leave the podcast and all of the stuff we talk about, I can leave it. I'm an avid YouTube watcher, so whenever I'm on YouTube, I'm constantly berated with all these negative stuff. I mean, that's the echo chamber I've created for myself.
I was gonna say, you create that for yourself because
Yeah.
that's the kind of content you watch.
Right. And I know that's not everyone out there in the United States. So I'm assuming a lot of people just don't really even care what's going on. And that's kind of what's led to where we're at, is people don't
Potentially. Yeah.
really give a fuck about what's going on. They just are more, I don't know if it's narcissistic, but they just more or less care about their daily lives as opposed to what's going on politically around the world. And would you say that's what you do? When you walk into work, you're just like, man, I'm not worried about any of that shit. I'm just here to make my money. I'm going to go home. I'm going to play my video games. I'm going to do what it is. I'm going to cook some food. None of that negative shit really ever enters your life until you come to the podcast.
I mean, from time to time, but yeah, in general, I just try to. I know it's all there. It's not like I don't know it's all there. It's not like I avoid it for the sake of. It doesn't actually provide anything. Thinking about it all the time doesn't do anything. You can either do something about it and actually be active, which I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I am. I'm not doing anything about it. But I'm saying you can either do something about it and be active and try to cause change, you know what I mean? Or you can just avoid it completely and try to live your life and be happy. When you get in that weird middle ground where you're just focused on it all the time and focused on all the negativity, but you're not actually doing anything to change it, and you're just like constantly researching it and looking at it and all this, like, that's dismal, man. That's like depressing.
It is.
That's why I said sometimes when I come to this podcast, I leave not feeling good because of some of the stuff we talk about. It actually, like, I'm not an angry person, but it fucking angers me. Like, it pisses me off and I hate it. And it's I don't know. It's just real shitty.
But it sells, man. It's sexy.
No, people love a good conspiracy theory, and they love talking about, stuff. And some people take it a little too far. I actually have this weird story. I was getting my haircut at my barber shop, and the dude had just got done with his haircut. I was just sitting down, starting to get my haircut, and he stands up and he starts talking about conspiracy theory and all this. And he starts going into, man, just a little bit of everything. He's bouncing a little bit from here to there, like everything. Not to bring up other people that we've had on the podcast, but like fairly similar to where he's going into stuff. And I didn't say a word through like the 20 minutes that he's going off on his rant, talking to his barber, and my barber, who's like actually cutting my hair, is getting involved too. I'm just sitting there not saying anything. And then he notices that I'm not saying anything because it's only us four in the barbershop at the time. He goes, hey man, you just been sitting there quiet. I hope I'm not scaring you at all with all this new information. And I'm like, and immediately I'm like, hey man, I was like, I'm actually, man, this is kind of one of the things that I do. I actually do a podcast, and I told him to look this up, which I guarantee you he didn't look this up. I was like, yeah, man, we have authors on, and we talk about conspiracy theory. I was like, everything you just said, I've heard before. Like, you're not scaring me.
You're not blowing my mind here.
Yeah, like anything. He said a bunch of stuff that I'd agreed with, but then he was talking about like he worked for this corporation that is contracted by like the U.S. government, that they're going to make like mechs, and mechs are going to be like running the wars and everything. And I'm just like, all right, man, like all that. But I was like, but it was just funny for him to be like, hey man, you've been really quiet. You're the only one not talking in the room. I don't mean to scare you right now. Like, bro, this is what I do every week almost, like, is talk about the things that you're talking about. They were just a funny little.
He could have said that to anyone else, but you were in the room at that time.
Yeah, and I told him, I was like, hey man, you can look us up on YouTube, like Talk Junkies,
Probably talk about more than you have. We brought up, the World Fair and a whole bunch of other stuff that you probably never even thought of.
Right.
And a bunch of stuff he had right. A bunch of stuff. I was like, man, completely on board with the guy, but I just didn't chime in. Like, first of all, I'm trying to get my hair cut right now.
Yes.
Like,
That's a barbershop talk.
No,
man.
no,
It's
it
almost
is.
like locker
It
room.
is barbershop talk. It is barbershop talk.
But man, once again, why can't we like everything in the world? That's a perfect example. That guy came in there, and I'm not saying this didn't happen in the past, but I felt like it happened less often. That's barbershop talk, right? He came in there and he started talking about conspiracy and all this. Barbershop talk used to be talking about like the Chiefs. Like it used to be talking about like your local sports team or whatever, or what was, I know it does, but it's like more and more in the world today, everybody's so focused on like just the negative parts of it.
Well, is that, I mean, and I think
which isn't necessarily a bad thing because that's leading to people opening their eyes.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's what I'm saying. That's due to the government being overarching and doing negative things to the people.
And also, and you know, I pride this guy. I wish I remembered his name because I caught his name whenever I was there. But I pride the guy because he was actually talking about real shit that might offend other people, which I think is what we avoid because we're so worried about hurting
other people's feelings.
Watch this dude be Wolf Flow, who comments on all of our videos.
You know,
that'd be crazy.
I seriously doubt it. Seriously doubt it.
He would have freaked out whenever Jesse. He would have been like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. But no, I was like, man, actually good for you for actually, you know, you're willing to openly talk about this because I have trouble whenever I'm not in front of the mic with the headphones on, just like talking to another person about it. Because, well, the majority of the time, whenever my interactions are coming from work, so I have to have the work face on, and I can't go too hard.
I go deep, man.
You know,
I go deep at work with everyone.
Man, good for you.
I don't care.
I'm
like, fuck it. Dude.
I worry that it's going to affect my money at some place, and I'm like, man, what can I really change here? And I don't want to push you in the weird direction, and then all of a sudden now it's affecting my money, kind of thing.
Sure,
but
I mean, like you start with like whenever you're going to talk to someone about something of that nature, especially politics, when you're in a bar. You learn how to kind of ask, like, how do you feel about COVID, or how do you feel about?
You ask better questions.
Exactly.
You start asking better questions that aren't just like statements to where you're like, hey, the government's fucked. Then they'll be like, they won't even fucking listen to you after that. You know, you have to be intuitive with it. You have to, you know, speak intellectually.
My thing on this one is though, when I'm talking to someone who's like up at the bar or something like that, what do you do when you like wholeheartedly disagree with what they're saying? Like I had that happen the other day with someone where it was like, I just completely disagreed with what they're saying, but they're still like tipping me and paying my bills. You know what I mean? Like they're paying me, they're a paying customer. That's how I make my money. I can't just be like, no, bro, I straight up disagree with everything you say. And I think you're wrong. And I think I'm right in all this because then I don't get the money. So there is that work filter there.
There is but at the same time, I've had plenty of fucking times to where I'm like, no, man, I think it's this way.
Yeah.
But,
no, and I will
never
to a
like,
degree,
oh,
but
you're
I'm
a piece
talking
of
about,
shit.
yeah.
I'm never like, oh, you're a piece of shit. Even though in the background of my head, I'm like, man, you're kind of a piece of shit for believing in this. But I have a reasonable conversation, you know?
And that's your truth.
You know?
And everyone
I can
has
get too hot-headed sometimes. I mean, you know me. We've been in
Same.
hot-headed conversations.
Oh, yeah.
You know, throughout the years.
All of us have, man. But and again, I think we all can agree upon this. And I actually had a conversation with someone today with my wife's family. Is the simple fact that like, and again, everyone knows this. Like we've gone away from that to where people have two different ideas and they can't be in the same environment and have a conversation about it.
And you should be able to.
And I know when you have work involved and there's money involved,
Work's a little different.
It is, but does it really though? You know what I'm saying? They're coming out into public. This is a public area. Granted, you are working.
It is because it directly affects my money because I'm currently now. If I was sitting down at the bar and this person sat next to me at the bar,
and you're drinking the same amount as them,
then
right?
Sure, yes, open conversation,
same amount of tequila shots,
open conversation.
deep as them,
But when
all
I'm
that.
on the other side of it and I'm an employee, it does change because that's my money.
But you know how weird it is, and this comes up a lot, especially where I work. Not a lot, but you know, at least once a week, where the guest asks, "Have you been vaccinated?" And I'm not trying to go down that road, but it's like that's really not a question you should be asking me. Or we were in a conversation that was talking about that, and it led to that question, so I kind of did spark it, you know. But it's like at that point, I'm just going to be honest, and I'm going to tell them how I feel, and not how I feel, but I'm going to be, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. It didn't affect my money. They still tip me because they come in. They still have their friends who come in. They're all regulars. Like,
but maybe
dude,
what I'm saying is maybe you didn't have the guy who was hardcore on it. Because
No, you're
talking
right,
about the
you're right.
vaccination thing, and I'm not going to go into details because there's a very slim, super slim chance, like 0.01%. But who knows? This person could listen to this or whatever. But like talking to someone, and they were talking about the fact that, oh, since you guys aren't wearing masks now, like you're all vaccinated and stuff. And I didn't really answer that question. I was just like, yeah, that's what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. And talking about how he was upset that another employee there wasn't wearing a mask, even though he wasn't vaccinated. And he knew he wasn't because they've had that conversation before. And he's like, that's disrespectful and rude. And I won't even let him serve me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't tell this guy that I'm currently handing a beer that I'm not vaccinated and I'm not wearing a, you know what I mean? Like it literally, so there are extreme situations out there where it does affect your money.
And that dismal type of life that we live in has created this type of environment.
Yes.
Which is, it's insane. It's crazy, man. Like all these different types of scenarios that we're in, this is what it's creating. You know what I'm saying? Like we said, I asked you, do you go to work and do you walk away from it? No, you don't, because that story you just talked about.
But I never even thought about that until we came here.
Yeah, but in that moment, you didn't really want to think about it, but it happened. You know what I'm saying? It happened. The politics that are going on right now, whether or not you want to think about it, it was.
Oh, they happened at work.
It was in that moment. Sure. Yeah, it was in that moment, and you were faced with a decision whether to be honest or just beat around the bush and kind of just avoid the question or avoid the answer. That's crazy. Like, why are we in that type of environment? And again, we talk about it in the podcast, and that's why we are in that type of environment, in our opinion. And we're going to try and not even talk about that tonight. But there is one story that I found very interesting. I know it's a little bit old news, a couple weeks old. And the fact that with this Governor Whitmer or whatever, she's in Michigan, different governors dealt with the COVID pandemic in different ways, right? And Governor Parsons, I think he did a decent job. And again, I'm not saying I love politicians, but unfortunately, it's the life we live in. We have politicians who are involved in our lives and decide what.
We're not in a utopia. This is a realistic.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't need to quit fucking trying to do that. But there was a plot against her to where they said that there were some dudes trying to kidnap her, and come to find out, there were 14 men involved, and 12 of those 14 guys were informants for the FBI. And I can read a little bit. But I'll just read you guys a little bit. And this was from BuzzFeed. Or no, this is from the New York Post. Sorry, New York Post. So, I mean, it's, it can be biased, whatever, however you want to look at it. But it says, but it's revealed that the FBI had at least a dozen informants heavily involved in the Watchmen, is what they were called, including an Iraq veteran. Critics say the G-Men did as much to prod the plot as they did to prevent it from happening in the first place. The agents took an active part in the scheme from its inception, according to court filings, evidence, and dozens of interviews examined by BuzzFeed. Some members of the Wolverine Watchmen are accusing the feds of entrapment. One FBI informant from Wisconsin allegedly helped organize meetings where the first linkings of the Whitmer plot surfaced, even paying for hotel rooms and food to entice people to attend. The Iraq veteran, identified as Dan, shelled out for transportation costs to militia meetings and apparently goaded members to advance the plot.
Dude, to me, that is entrapment, and it's you saying that reminded me of a show that I used to watch. It was like a Showtime show or something called Sleeper Cell. And he was joining a terrorist cell to help stop it or whatever. But then eventually by the time you get to like season 3 or whatever, the whole thing is that like he's moved up so far in it that he's now like the leader of this cell or whatever.
And he's the informant?
He's the one, like his whole job is there. Like season 1, he's there. He comes in through a friend or whatever, and he's there to like stop this attack. There's a terrorist attack. He's joined the cell. He's just a peon. He's there to stop the attack, whatever. But then eventually through the seasons, because it's a TV show, obviously it's a TV show, he becomes like the leader of this cell, and then I'm like, now you're the one actively planning stuff. It just doesn't, I don't know. And it's the same thing with like the FBI agents. Like there's 12 of you out of the 14 people involved. 12 of you are FBI agents. Some of the stuff you're saying is definitely prodding the other 2 to keep doing it. I swear if you just left them alone and it was just those 2, they probably just had conversations in their fucking basement and never would have actually fucking done anything. There was the other article you read about it, which it wasn't on there, but where it talks about how the FBI agents even showed these people how to make a bomb to gain their trust or to help them or whatever. Yeah. To show that, hey, we're in this with you together. We want to be part of this. But you gave them the means to actually do it in the first place.
Right.
That is entrapment. Like
the biggest thing that you're dealing with here is the fact that it's a moral issue. And our government does not give a fuck about morals. We have never done anything off morals.
There's a spider, bro. It's on your, it's right, Jesse, look at me. It's right here. No. Where I'm pulling the cord, it was on your cord. Sorry, go ahead, continue.
It's good.
Yeah.
I'll live.
Yeah.
No, what you're really dealing with here is a moral issue. Our government has a horrible way of looking at moral issues because they don't They don't react or do anything off moral shit. What it is, how are they benefiting? Like prosecution, right? Prosecution doesn't care about the morality or the actual scenario of what's happening. They're just trying to convict somebody because then they get to be done with it, and then the money gets moved, and then it's said and done.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is it's a moral issue. But our government doesn't deal in moral issues. They deal in basic prosecution and just, okay, now this is done. Let's move on. They're anti-moral whenever it comes down to it. It's man, I'm really generalizing this so much. That's the best way that I can explain it. Whenever you have like, hey man, we're gonna come in, we're gonna do a sting, but we're clearly gonna fuck this guy over from anything more than he would have ever got, but we can put him in a spot.
Honestly, you should probably just tell that weed story that you've told before, if you're able to tell that on here.
Oh
it's
yeah,
got nothing to do with you.
Yeah, no,
but that's that's a good, like a perfect example.
No, so this happened years ago. Small like documentary, guy being interviewed. He's in prison, like pleading his fucking case. Basically, was that he was a low level weed dealer. He would get ounces to a quarter pound at a time. He would sell it off, and other people would sell. Like he was not a middleman, but not like the low street dealer. Like he would deal an ounce to somebody who would then deal out, like blunts at a time or like grams at a time.
Dime bags.
Whatever it was.
Quarter sacks.
He was the guy that would get you weed if you were selling it at your complex or fucking whatever to like make some money. Anyway, dude gets caught. They go, hey, we're not going to charge you with anything if we hit this guy hard enough. So then next thing you know, he's being pushed to get 3 pounds, which he's never gotten before in his fucking life. He ends up getting it for him because the fucking money's right. And then they hit him for the most he can possibly be hit. Is that...
They're like, oh, you got 3 pounds. We're gonna hit you with this, even though the government pushed him
more than a pound
to getting that.
He's never had more than a pound. He was like, I have never bought more than a pound in my life.
Was that the FBI or was it like just?
It was
like,
FBI.
Okay,
yeah, it was FBI
or DEA or whatever.
ATF.
Or probably no, it was DEA for sure. Now that I think about it, it's DEA because this happened in like the early 2000s. But no, they fucked him over, and they literally made sure that like, hey, like we're spending the time to go after you. We're not going to waste our time getting you for your lower level shit. We're going to get this. We're going to hit you as hard as you can. That way we get names for the people up above you. So that's like a bargaining chip for them, right? So if they were to just hit him for a QP, which he would normally get at a time, that's not much of a bargaining chip because, man, you might do a year, or whatever.
Who cares?
Yeah. You're going to do your fucking year and walk
away.
away.
If that's normally what he gets, then what are they going to get if he buys 3 pounds? Like,
they buy 3 pounds.
They can hit him way harder.
So now what they do?
But they're not going to get the answers that they want because this dude is only buying a QP. It's not like he knows like the main plug.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't say this outside whenever we were first talking about this. Their mentality is you hit him for as hard as you can, and then you try to get the deal to get to the next guy. So now, hey, we just caught you for 3 pounds. That's 20 years. We can knock this shit down to initial year, what you would have gotten for what you were normally pushing. But now you got to give up names. Otherwise, it's 20 years, which he didn't do. Because he's like, no, those guys will kill me while I'm in fucking prison. I'm not fucking doing that shit. So he got 20 years.
So their tactics don't work.
But now they've ruined his fucking life.
Yeah,
but his life's ruined over the whole thing.
Which they're completely okay with.
And you can be like, oh, he ruined his own life because he's out there selling weed. Grow the fuck up.
Right. But in this case, it is a little bit different. But the fact that 12 of the 14 people, I mean, overwhelmingly 12 people
what you're
against
asking,
2, that's, I mean, come on now. Let's get real. Like, what's really going on here? And if this is the FBI's tactics, like, man, imagine what else they're doing. Imagine.
But, dude, it's the cards that they have in their hand. And to be honest with you, the game that they're playing is smart.
It's immunity.
If you're just looking at it, take all morals out of it, which you have to, right? You have to take all morality. Because if you're a moral human being, you go, man, this is pretty fucked right here, what you're doing. But you take all morality out of it. What it is smart business. They're doing smart business. They're going, man, we have to hit this guy for this amount so he talks about who's above him. He's not going to talk for fucking a quarter pound. No, he's only going to talk for like 3 pounds and facing 20 years to fucking life. That's the only way he talks, but still didn't fucking talk. So now he's fucked. Okay, so now we move on. Let's try it again.
Just do someone, yeah.
Now we try it again. And then now we keep doing it. And then that's what it is. It's a little bit different. You have to, from a business standpoint, the FBI is really good at what they do. They know how to do it. They know how to push people back into a corner. Guess what? He still did it, right? He still got the 3 pounds, even though he never never dealt that much. He can't even toss that off.
I think Paul's trying to get back on the 12 FBI agents out of the 14
Yeah,
people.
but
Like, what does that do?
once again, what you're talking about is a moral issue. They don't look at moral issues. They look at, from a business standpoint, how can we keep doing what we're doing and make the most out of it, make our names relevant, and make the most money.
So you don't think it's about keeping America safe?
No, none of that.
No.
None of that. It's not with them, there are no morals. The higher up government people, morals do not exist for them. It's what's being turned. What's being turned? What's the volume? What's the volume? What's how much can we prosecute this person? All this.
Now this becomes you're talking about kidnapping and potential bombing and all this stuff. That's basically like a terrorist act at that point, or
right.
like a domestic terrorism thing. So now you've got them for a ton of fucking money, prosecution, all this stuff. All these people, all these FBI agents are now moving up in their careers, getting promotions and everything. Like,
looks good on your shit.
Yeah. Fuck, man.
And it has nothing to do with morality. If ever you think that we have a moral government, you are so far off. We have the most immoral government I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, outside of like 1800s level fucking shit. Like we could give a shit less about actual and what is morals like a moral is how to treat other people, right? So if you were in his position, like if you're that FBI agent overseeing the shit, and then if you were to actually have,
it's like a Training Day movie is what this should be a movie.
Oh man,
It'd
no,
be like Training Day.
And to think
Training
that
Day is a good example.
Hey, to think that that's not real. Did I not just show you a video about like 30 to 45 minutes ago of an officer tossing a small bag of crack?
Right.
In the back of a black guy's fucking car, and it's all in fucking video. Like that shit doesn't fucking happen. And
that's just one that you happen to catch on video. Think about how often it happens.
But okay, so and you should post a link to this video. I'll shoot it to you through email, the way people can understand the reference of what I'm saying right now, to where they're like, no, he's just making that shit up. You can visually very much see that there is some corruption happening. Why would that police officer do that? Think about this for a second. Why would that police officer pull over somebody, literally have a small like quarter gram of crack on him, and then toss it into somebody's back seat? Why would he do that?
Get a better name for himself.
Well, because he's being pushed from his higher ups to get money for the county and for
I don't
him
know.
to get promoted.
Honestly,
and all
I
this.
have no answer. I have no answer to this whatsoever.
But the only thing.
That's what I want to ask the cop. Man, why are you... Dude, you have to carry around like crack with you, which how did you get the crack, by the way? I don't know if you ever go through this
Take
train
it out,
of thought.
You take it out of
Where did
evidence.
you
Take it
get
out of evidence.
Yeah. Or you pull someone over, you take the crack and you don't tell anyone, you don't report it.
Boom.
Hey, man, yeah.
I guarantee you that's what it was.
Yeah. Hey, man,
that's where my mind goes. I was
Yeah.
like, more likely, hey, I'm letting you go. That way I can hit a bigger fish.
Right. And that's what he tells his boss, and they do an internal investigation, and the cop doesn't do, nothing happens to the cop.
No.
Nothing happens to the cop.
Well, there's articles that I need to read more on that whole thing that I said. But once again, you should post that link.
Yeah,
with,
for sure.
with this, the way people can actually see a little bit of,
just
like
see,
real life
when we get done with the
corruption.
podcast, just send it over.
And to me, that's the depressing or the negative aspect of this, of what we're talking about, is we're talking about one instance. This has to happen all the fucking time, and it's just not caught on film.
And it's just people trying to get ahead, like you said, and get that promotion or get whatever it is.
Or
They're just
whatever
trying
it
to
is.
get more ahead in life. So I'm not trying to deviate from kind of the. Okay, you go ahead first because I'm going to deviate a little bit.
How much money would it take for you to put somebody in prison, like being a police officer? So let's take the extreme. Let's take the extreme here for a second. Like the video that I showed you today of the officer who clearly tossed...
I could never do that, man. I could never do that.
For no amount of money?
No.
No amount of money you can fuck somebody over?
No.
I think a lot of people are on the same page as you.
Dude, real life isn't Rust, and I'm not trying to fucking just kill or put someone down.
Ruin somebody's fucking life?
Yeah, dude, absolutely
That
not,
way
man.
you could...
No.
Or maybe it was just straight out of hatred.
Because it takes a person who doesn't
make sense
it
in
takes
our
a person
minds.
who doesn't give a shit about other people to do that.
Yeah.
Which are the exact kind of people who shouldn't be hired as police officers.
So and again, we've talked about that. If you paid the police more money, it would attract higher, people who are ready for that job or ready to do something like that. I mean, that's tough in itself, man. But
Where are you at to where you're just trying to fuck people over and ruin them?
And that's kind of the beginning conversation, man, is how...
A sociopath? That's what sociopaths think.
I mean, how dismal life is, and no matter where you go and what you do in life, right now in America at least, you're going to be faced with those dismal things. and you're trying to avoid it at all costs, but it's just going to come up and come up and come up. So what do you try and do? You try and beat it. You try and get ahead. Like, man, if I just get this money, I can get a better house. I can do this. I can do that. I can have a better life. And you have these people who are just going for extreme types of things to try and do those things. And this is what they do, man. Like, why, as a cop, would you... the dude's filming you, man. And he just throws the crack in his car. Like, why? Like, why? What is he accomplishing? You're going to put that dude behind bars and you think he's going to talk for... I mean, that crack...
Probably wasn't for that, though, man. It was probably just for... Think about it. If you're a police officer, and let's say you did everything morally correct to your moral code, do you really think you're ever going to get promoted?
Probably not. Unless you have a string of good luck and you
Because-
come around...
because-
come
But are
along
you
some
really going
legitimate
to...
criminals.
So you pull someone over, right? And you pull someone over and they've got something like... something super small. Like they've got expired tags and they've got the stuff in their seat next to them like, hey, man, I'm going this week to like get my shit renewed. I'm sorry I'm like a month late or whatever. You could be a decent person and be like, hey, get that caught up. If I see you out here again and you lied to me, blah, blah, I'm going to give you a ticket for it, but I'm going to let you go or whatever. That doesn't help you at all. It helps you morally and as like a good person. It doesn't help you move up. When they look at your promotion down the road, they're going to look at like how many fucking people you booked, how much fucking money you brought in for the fucking force.
Exactly, yeah. Follow the money, for sure.
This is the big thing for me, which I know I'm going to get a lot of like backlash for. But what I was saying is we are not morally based whenever it comes to our justice system and how things happen.
Not at all.
Which you would think that would be the first thing.
That's what justice should be based on, right? Would be morals.
It's just morals and how people should be treated. And so like the big one is like how you would want to be treated, right? Treat other people as you would want to be treated.
100%.
Do you think that police officer was treating that person as how he would want to be treated?
So and this kind of goes back to...
No, probably fucking not.
But so there's two parts to this. And one, it goes back to one of our original podcasts, and what we always refer back to is the population's too big. In the United States, there's too many variants, too many possibilities that are going on for these types of things to happen. When you have 330 million people in a country, granted, it's a big fucking country, you're going to see absolutely everything. There's not anything that we're not going to see, especially with phones and the shit that we have now. We're going to see the rare cases that we're talking about right now. And then the second piece would be of that. I lost it, man. Sorry. I lost it.
It's all good.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I lost.
When did like why can you not have a government system based upon caring about people?
You can. You can't do that with 330 million people, though.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, I think you can too. But I think
why hasn't it been done then?
Because
why hasn't it been done? If you can do it, why hasn't it been done?
Once again, some people would have to lose some money.
Yeah,
some people
that's why
would
it
have
won't
to
work.
lose some money,
That's why it won't work.
and they would still have enough, right?
Yeah,
like they
that's
would
why-
still have
that's
enough.
Why it won't work though?
Now we're gonna sound like socialists, right? So we need to be careful.
Well, I
because
mean,
before we get our
It's the same
houses
shit we
burned down.
talk about every week.
Yeah, it's very true, man. But either way, it's a fucked up story, man. There's some things that need to change for sure, and it is impossible to avoid the structure that we're in, and we talk about it a lot. But what else is light that's going on in our lives, man? What else is light?
Like good things?
Like bring it up. So I have another report or a news report or anything or something like that.
Do you care if I hit this whiskey?
No, not at all, man. In Dubai right now, with the extreme drought that there is, they're actually making it rain in Dubai.
Which they've been able to do for a long time.
Very true. So that and then I know this,
How do they do that?
I don't know. I didn't read the article. I just saw it. So this is the weird shit, man. I mean, they come out with these articles like on an Android phone. You can swipe left, and then it brings you to like Bixby, which is like iPhone's Siri.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
iPhone has Siri. Oh, like Android Siri. I got you.
So Android, it's called Bixby. But when I go to my home screen, I unlock my phone. If I swipe left, it's going to give me all the news stories and shit like that.
Okay.
And Dubai is literally making it rain. So playing Clash of Clans, I've been playing this Clash of Clans for fucking like 6-7 years now. And I actually, you meet some cool people when you're on Clash. I've been dedicated again. I played it for 6 years. I met a dude, and his name was like
On your 30th birthday, he came over here.
No.
I remember that shit.
That was someone else. But this guy actually lived out in like in Dubai or in that area, and his name was King A. Kingdom. And we exchanged Snapchats So now I'm friends with him on Snapchat.
You send him dick pics.
No. I've been friends with this guy on Snapchat for years.
Okay.
And recently he's been posting stories on his Snapchat. And it's just you see desert and it's just pouring fucking rain, dude. And I hit him up and I was like, dude, it's gonna turn into a forest here soon. And he's like, yeah, man. And then I see this article a couple days later. It's fucking, and I don't know if he lives in Dubai, but it's like Dubai is artificially making it rain because of the drought.
Cool.
No, okay. So you also,
but if that's the case, like with California and all these years, all these forest fires, all the homes it destroys, all the people it kills, like why isn't California just making it rain?
Because it does more damage. Hold on, I actually know more.
I was like, I don't know about this. So
I've seen shit on this. It causes more damage than actually being good. You have these towers with these man, they're like wedges that come out of the tower. And they were able to do, like, I could
cumulus
show
clouds
you,
and shit.
Yes,
yeah.
I can show you this shit. But the problem is, it's so outside of the ecosystem, ends up doing more damage than fucking good. How do you need this natural shit? I'm gonna do. But how do you do this so poorly?
How do you know that's the case? Like, what's gonna happen in Dubai?
No, because they've done studies. It was done in England. It's been done for they're doing it since like the late 90s. They've been doing this shit. But the problem is, whenever they influence the weather, it's never for like the good of shit. It always ends up being bad. And I wish I could give you the details. I can like show you the shit where like everybody's like, yeah, this just causes more problems than fucking good.
It's like a Band-Aid.
Because you're unnaturally trying to do natural shit. And it's never really worked out well.
But if they've been able to control the weather for how long, what's to say that they're making these forest fires happen and they're making the drought happen in California and they're kind of avoiding water?
Why would they be doing that?
I don't know. I'm just saying that isn't that a possibility? I know it's a conspiracy at that point, but in
the sense of everything's a possibility, yeah, but I highly doubt that's the case.
But why not make it rain?
For what he was just for the reason he was just saying.
That
maybe long term it's actually way worse.
It is way worse. It is way worse.
I would have to see some shit on that to
That's what I'm saying. I'm too undereducated on this to even
dude. I'm telling
in.
you, too many studies, and this isn't some like weird magic. Everybody knows that this fucking happens. It's just it got outlawed. It got outlawed in fucking Europe and Ireland and all this because what they were trying to do is during droughts and shit, make it fucking rain, right? Which they have technology to do. Way above my fucking head, it's these towers with these like plank-like things that come out of it, and it sends off some fucking shit. Don't know how the fuck it works. It sounds like Alex Jones right now. But it makes it rain, and they can do it. But the problem is
they seed clouds.
You're not. All of a sudden, now the system has to adjust to this so dramatically that it ends up doing harm, and they outlawed it. I can literally, man, if I had enough time, I'd be able to show you. They outlawed it in fucking Europe because they're like, it does more damage than fucking good in the end.
I would be curious to know what the damage is, though, honestly. Just what type of
damage. You have to look it up.
Yeah. I mean, because like when you're facing droughts and you have millions of people who are reliant on water and it's affecting so many people, you have to go to drastic measures and drastic times, and you have to say what you have to outweigh the pros and the cons. You know what I'm saying? Especially in California where the droughts are insane, and there's forest fires every year. Same in Australia and shit like that.
Talk about Jeremy Rifkin right now. This is a great opportunity to have a little plug for an author that I really appreciate, Jeremy Rifkin, talking about the third industrial revolution, how we're stuck in the second industrial revolution, how we need to get off coal-based fucking shit, and we have plenty of technology to have.
But what's to say that technology isn't going to create another catastrophe or another type of? I mean, we're human beings. We're flawed individuals.
Man,
like you
if
talk
you
about.
were scared of fucking windmills out in fucking Kansas, like there's a problem there. Like this isn't doing anything. This is renewable fucking shit. Harnessing the wind,
just doesn't make the big coal companies
I've always
the money.
I've always been on geothermal energy. I've always been a big advocate of geothermal energy, but we cannot establish a geothermal energy fucking plant worth our fucking life for some reason. I've been talking about this since like 2006.
You know a car that runs off geothermal? Or a car that runs off windmills?
You put a battery in it.
Yeah. How do you make the battery?
Stores energy, bro.
How do you make the battery?
Stores fucking energy.
How do you make the battery?
No, it takes oil to do that. I get it. But at the same time, you're refining the fucking process. The issue is everything's been backed up because you're getting into people's pockets.
What do you do when the power goes out?
What do you do right now when the power goes out?
Fucking live.
I still have gas in my car. I'll get my car and just drive wherever it is I want to go.
Fucking jerk off. I don't know. Magazines. Maybe magazines will be a fucking thing again, which takes trees.
Dude, magazines
We're all
are
jerking
tight.
off to trees. Really.
Magazines, yeah, dude. Victoria's Secret way back in the day, man.
JC Penney catalog, bro.
Yeah,
Let's go real old school. I'm OG. JC Penney
I thought
catalog,
you were about to be like
bro.
Home and Garden.
JC
Don't even
Penney,
play with me.
dude. I hit JC Penney a lot, so don't even go there with me, man. And I'm older than you, so I did it first.
JC Penney even still a thing anymore?
Yeah,
don't even
I
think.
think so. At like outlet malls and shit.
Yeah.
That's weird, man.
Yeah.
I jerked off to that shit.
I know, man.
They had those big, thick ass fucking books, and you knew the sticky pages were where the lingerie section was. That's where that was.
Oh,
It's a horny little fuck, man.
luckily, over
every guy is.
75%. This is on Anchor. I haven't looked on YouTube, but 75% of our audience is male, so this is going to be a good one.
No, everybody's jerked off to a fucking JC. If you have not jerked off to a JC Penney catalog and you're like right around the age of 30, you were man.
But
You
dude,
weren't
like,
living life.
Yeah, you weren't living life.
But man, like once you realize that and you're like, damn, like this JC Penney catalog is tight, and then you find out your mom's getting Victoria's Secret catalog.
Oh man, you stepped
yeah.
up
So
your
I had
game.
sisters.
You
Yeah. So I
stepped
had
up your
sisters.
game.
I would literally go through their fucking trash. Man, this is so honest right now. I used to go through their fucking trash, like in their room. Like I would sneak into their room and I would find like, and they were like, you remember the CCS like catalogs for like skateboarding shit? Anybody remember CCS? Somebody watching remembers CCS. But they were like really small catalogs, right? That you would get in the mail. Like I would subscribe to like PacSun, CCS. It was all skateboarding shit. And then you'd like, it was basically like ordering shit before like you had internet
Before
access.
internet was a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I know
yeah.
what you're talking
And
about.
then
I
you'd
know what
like
you're talking
write in the shit and then you'd send it in with your fucking check and then you'd get the shit in the
about.
mail.
Literally had a thing in the back of
Man,
the
this
catalog.
is
that
so
was like
old
where you-
school. This is so old school now. But Victoria's Secret had the same shit. And I would steal those catalogs. And oh my God, I jerk off to that shit so fucking hard. I thought I saw a nipple one time and I like freaked the fuck out. And it wasn't even like maybe a nipple. It was maybe a nipple, but I was like, it was just enough to be like, oh man, that's a nipple enough for me to jerk off to this.
But
right
that's
now.
before you found out your parents had that free HBO subscription for some reason. You know what I'm
Did
saying?
anybody else have that wonky channel?
Yeah,
Oh, everybody had
yeah.
it.
Everybody had a
Cinemax,
wonky
bro. You
channel,
had the
man.
Cinemax that was all like
See?
fuzzy.
And if everyone had that, the government, they did that unintentionally. They wanted all these dudes jacking off, man.
I don't even
Get
know
them
how
young.
technologically how that works. When
Yeah.
you get that weird channel where you'd see
Everybody
titties.
gets it.
You just see titties would be like, oh my God, and then it'd go away and you'd be like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm like 12. I just discovered what to do with what it is downstairs. Like, this is cool.
Those are horrible times.
But then you had
Horrible
VCR,
times.
man, and I had VCR, and I figured out that I could record shit. And for some reason, we had HBO one time, late night Cinemax, and we got it like we had satellite dish or dish network or whatever it was called. I mean, I grew up poor, so whenever I got this shit, I'm like, dude, this is tight. I'm watching ESPN. My brother's watching Scooby Doo, and we're just not like this at the same time, but that's all I would watch was ESPN. Well, then I didn't really know what happened late at night because I'd always be in my room playing video games or on the phone with friends and shit like that. So I don't know what happened one night. I go out there and I'm like, what's going on with all these channels? And I check it out. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
VCR right there. Go grab a tape, boom, and then record. And I was good, man. I was good. I was set up at like 12 or 13, maybe 14. Real good.
New generation will never understand the struggle of masturbation.
No,
like we-
absolutely not.
Dude, picture
JCPenney
even
Dude, they
earlier
got,
on
they
than
got
us.
phones that, like,
Like, what did you do in the 70s and shit?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you had to go out there and you had to pull your weight, man. Like, it's either you're going to do it or you're going to find someone, right? Like, you didn't have really much other option than that. I mean,
We had to have had better options, right, than even them.
they still had
magazines.
Yeah, magazines. Yeah, Playboy for sure. Yeah.
Everybody remembers their fucking first Playboy.
Yeah. I never
That
bought
was
a
like,
Play-
you
never
don't even
bought-
jerk off to that first one because you're like, wow, that's what that is?
Yes.
You're like, wow. Actually, I take that back. Not the first Playboy, the first Penthouse, where you're like, whoa, oh, I don't know what to do with this.
No, you're not talking about Penthouse right now.
should-
You're talking about Hustler.
No, Hustler.
Hustler's the one that just went all out and was like, oh,
hey,
God.
Penthouse is the same. Penthouse is
or
the same.
Maximum or whatever.
No, Maxim's
That's like
weak shit. Maxim's weak shit.
like models
Paul,
or
who
some
the fuck
shit.
are you? Maxim's weak shit. No, you got Penthouse and Hustler, and then you see one of those is like a 14-year-old kid, and you're just like,
You're like,
gross.
look, you're
like,
saying that as you're
God
looking. You're
damn.
saying that as you're looking.
yeah, as you're like enthralled by it, you're like,
Yes.
gross. This is disgusting. I don't even know how I fucking feel about this now.
Boing.
And then you
Boing.
finish.
Yeah. And then you
That's
leave
why
your friend's
everything's
house and
gotta-
you find a way to get that magazine or get a hold of one.
Jesus Christ. Why we're all like so sexually fucked in the head. Everything was so suppressed by our parents. Like, oh, no, at least from my parents. Like, oh man, sexuality needs to be like so repressed. And then what ends up happening is you have a male who's so you're just like fucking I just want to like bite a zit on her ass and fucking go down on her afterwards. Like fucking no, that's so gross. This is so gross. I've never done that, by the way. I've never done that, but
You said it. You've definitely done it.
no, I've never done that, but that's pretty fucked. But no, like shit like that. Like, man, don't repress shit. Let people do their shit.
Yeah, sexually. I mean, what do you...
Don't show the 6-year-olds the hustlers or anything, but talk about it at least. My parents didn't do that fucking shit.
No, I'm completely honest with my kids, man, and I always will be. Obviously not in that. I'm not going down that road, but with my kids, I'm completely honest. Like, I'm not gonna ever shy
You're not
away.
hiding shit from them.
Yeah, absolutely not, man. This is their one shot at life. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Well, where do babies come from? Well, I'll tell you here in like a couple years. I'll tell you where babies come from.
Well, I mean, if Phoenix were to ask me where do babies come from, I'd be like, from mom. Like, she came from mom.
Yeah.
No, that honestly, like women, like girls are the gateway. Like they hold the gateway to all humanity. They birth children.
Yes, they do.
You have to get into like super detail and shit. Honestly, I'd fuck up a bunch of it because I don't even know enough about it. I'm still learning.
About what?
Anatomy.
Yeah. It's some crazy shit, man.
Girls got some crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, seeing it
Our
happen
shit's
and
just there.
watching a baby come out, and I think I've said on the podcast, it's crazy. It's the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. It's like alien predator shit. I'm not even fucking kidding you. Watching that baby come out, it's woo. Bro.
I got something I want to show you after this. That has nothing to do with anything sexual. It has to do with hair transplant shit. You know how
You talked about that, like the hair plugs or whatever.
Yeah,
being,
it was
like,
like-
infected.
but it was infected though. I just want to show you a picture. He was too much of a bitch to even fucking look at it.
I wouldn't.
Dude, it's because I don't get down on those kind of like. You have this weird thing where you're like, and lots of people do.
I like zit popping
You like
videos.
zit popping videos and like blackhead removal videos and shit. Like I never got down on those. That's
Or like,
not my fucking thing.
Tooth decay. Whenever they're doing a cavity and they're draining that shit out, I'm like, dude, that's dope.
Why do you enjoy watching that?
I don't know.
Or like when people watch like surgery videos and they're like, oh man, we're cutting into his liver and blah blah blah. Like I don't get
couldn't
like
do that. I
grossed
couldn't do
out.
that.
Like I can deal with blood and all that shit, but I don't get any like pleasure out of watching that. Like watching
interesting.
someone pop a fucking zit, I'm like, I have no interest in this. Like I don't need to watch you pull blackheads out of your fucking nose. Like I don't care.
The tonsil stones is about as far as I go.
They're
I
usually,
don't care.
I'll watch
but
tonsil stones. being
Usually the
removed.
videos that you watch, though, it's like the biggest zit, or it's the
I
biggest.
just don't
it's the
care, man.
the biggest calcium buildup.
I actually have one on YouTube, which would be super hard to find, and one of our friends filmed it. But I am popping a zit. I don't know. I don't want to mention names. It's weird being on a podcast. I can't mention names. I was popping a zit or popping a cyst on one of my friends' backs, and it's actually on YouTube. And I'm like literally screaming, "I'm your best fucking friend."
I wouldn't
as
be
do it.
surprised if that's at 1 million views because people get off on that shit.
Nobody's fucking.
That's hidden
it was old
deep
school.
in the depths
By the
of
way,
YouTube.
whenever I did that shit, and that person that was filming it was way before they got popular, and I have one, and you already know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and who
yeah.
is like filming it and shit.
Yeah.
But no, I've already done one of those. Which is kind of, it's a pat on my back.
Like I said, I mean,
guess.
like you see a hangnail and they're like removing that from their toe and they pull the whole nail off and shit. It's tough to watch, man. But it's just like if I ever have to go through it, now I know what to expect, type of thing.
I guess I never understood and I get it. A ton of people, Jesse's not weird for it. A ton of people out there do it. I've just never been like, oh man, here's a YouTube video of someone removing crazy amounts of blackheads or whatever. I have no interest in clicking on that. It's not like I'm grossed out. I don't give a shit. That's my thing, is I don't care.
It's some weird human thing to where we like seeing. It's almost like relief, like watching it. You're just like, oh man, this is satisfying. It's satisfying.
I don't know. I don't get that.
It's a satisfying thing.
It's almost like the same as video games, right? Like video games are satisfying. It's really popular in our culture. It's I mean, the amount of money in the industry of fucking video games is the same way.
I guess. I mean, just to each their own. I'm just saying I'm not interested in watching someone pull blackheads out.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, dude. If it's in my recommended, and I see it's like, oh, this massive blackhead's removed. Why? Like I'll watch it. Just
See, I don't care.
yeah. Fair enough.
But to each their own.
Yeah.
I don't belittle someone else for liking that. I have no interest in it. So when earlier he was like, hey man, here's this thing of like, this guy has like hair plugs or a hair transplant or whatever, and this shit got crazy infected and it's like gnarly looking. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not grossed out. I just don't care to look at it. Like,
I mean, the amount of money you're paying for a surgery like that, like Bosley, dude. I went bald pretty early in life, and I was living with Kyle Schillings.
I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
I'm working on it.
Well, I was younger though, so you're more developed like mentally than I was when I started losing my hair. So like I was freaking out. Like I would be late, I'd be watching TV late at night and this Bosley commercial comes on because Rogaine for like the back of your head. And I was like way past the point for Rogaine, like to put the topical shit on your head and save it. So I'm like there late at night and I see this Bosley commercial. It's like, oh, and it shows all the shit and it's like call for a free DVD and you get like $100 off. So like, I call him. I'm like, hey, I'm interested. Like, I'm going over this sob story like on the phone with someone I never met, like how I lost my hair and I really want it back. Like, oh yeah, we can do it. I'm going to send you this shit. This is how much it costs. So then they send it to me and I'm like, it's like LeBron James did it, man. Like if you go back and see LeBron, like he got hair plugs. He got Bosley.
Lots of people.
Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
LeBron James.
Like it legitimately
two names that are synonymous
Daniel
with each
Negreanu.
other.
It legitimately works, but then I'm like, you looking at LeBron now, he's bald as fuck again, Like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I'm going to start a fucking Facebook page or a community like the bald community, man, because it's legit, dude. It's the most legit thing. Like,
bro, you look so good bald, man.
And I appreciate
you with
it.
hair would be fucking weird.
No,
It would
it
be
wouldn't,
weird.
though, man. So check it out. So there's this crazy shit they do.
You
and,
look
like,
so much better without hair.
there's this crazy shit that they do. Like, it's in
I've
like,
only known you without hair.
It's in like South Korea or Japan or China or something where like you have these hairstylists who are taking it next level shit. And what they're doing is they're making wigs that they actually glue to your head. Like legitimately, like it's not like Elmer's glue, it's like legit glue. But it's not like a toupee where it looks obvious that it's not your hair and shit like that. Like there are TikToks where it went viral and it's like it looks like you have hair again. And it lasts for months and months. And I don't know if they still cut it. I don't think it grows. You know what I'm saying? I think your hair still grows. And
So
shit.
it's just like a
It's
like a 3-month permanent, but not permanent, like a 3-month permanent
hair
wig.
Yeah, you can go swimming with it.
Basically a wig.
You can wash it. You know what I'm saying? And like I don't. It doesn't have to be like long. It could be like short, like I always had my hair when I was younger. Like I never had long hair, and it would just be like that. I had my hair again. And like, dude, so many bald men come into work, and I talk to them like, hey man, like what's up? Like, would you ever want your hair back? And we just go back and forth and talk about it. And majority of bald men say no, they would never want their hair back,
dude, because you look good bald, man.
No, and I'm forced to because it's part of nature that happens.
It's like you don't have that option. You just want the option.
Yeah. Like if I could go naturally go get a wig that existed, I would do it just one time, just to see. Like honestly, I think I would cry if I had hair again. I truly would. I would cry. I would fucking.
You want it back that? You want it back that bad?
No. I mean, I don't want it back that bad, but like, dude, like I look good, dude, and I know I look good now, but I look even better with hair, man. Even better. And I know that's cocky to say. I was pulling a lot of girls back in the day, man. I mean,
Paul's a
with
good
the
looking
hair.
dude. Humble too, on top of it. But
yeah, you're more in denial than Johnny is the way you do your hair. Johnny doesn't hide it. You hide it.
Well, I mean, I got a hat on right now, but
Well, you're hiding it, but like you don't always hide it.
My shit's been the way that it's been since I was like 18, and I've only had a little bit of like receding hair.
Nah, man.
yours is the back, man.
Yeah, yours is the back. You need Rogaine for sure.
Man, when it's my time, I'm not trying to impress anybody anymore either. Like whenever it's my time, it'll go.
I mean, you guys can easily talk about this between each other and have these types of conversations. I've lived this life for a very long time now. You know what I'm saying? And I was in denial for a short period of time and, let my hair grow out and the cul-de-sac was starting to form and shit like that. But, I mean, it just what I'm saying, if I live till I'm 80 years old, so, I mean, that's another, like, 50 years, like, 48 years or whatever it is. If I could, in one more time, have hair for 3 months, I would fucking do it. Why not? You know? Like, already when I'm, like, 60, I plan on just growing my cul-de-sac out, full-on gray hair. Like, I'm not cutting it. It's going to be legit.
Just let it happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm not going to be bald forever. I will have hair again, but I couldn't do that in today's society. I couldn't grow my hair out. It would look way too weird.
Fuck it, man. At some point, you just have to say fuck it.
I'm going to grow it out. Fuck it, yeah. Let me grow
you
it
go.
out.
Like if it's honestly for you, fucking do it, man. Fucking do it. My shit is, man, I got over so much shit. Like I get worried about my teeth. Like my teeth is fucking crooked up front. I used to be so worried about that shit. Dude, I don't give a fuck about that shit.
Yeah,
anymore,
no. I
dude.
have my teeth are tinted yellow, dude.
Dude,
Like
I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
can't-
dude, fuck it.
in today's
Like,
world, you can't. Like, dude, it's your life. You live it. No one else is living your life. You have to be okay with yourself and just continue on life. And what is it that you want in life?
like,
Achieve
why,
it,
why am
man.
I trying to impress some other people for shit that never really bothered me?
You got a
like,
girlfriend?
I had to think, like, man, well, is this really bother me? Or is it just how I think other people want to see me?
I mean, that's how
Kind of
everybody
thing.
is
But-
in life, though.
Dude, but
Those
at
are
some
inter-
point,
those
you get like, especially at 30.
No, the older you get, you get over it. You're like, fuck it.
fuck that shit. I'm done trying to impress you.
So,
because honestly, I think I'm better than you anyway. Like,
I don't even think it goes.
Doesn't fucking matter.
I think it goes probably for procreation because initially, think about what humans are here to do. Anyways, we're here to fuck.
You're right.
Yeah, initially it's because you're trying to get laid.
You're trying
exactly.
to get laid.
So, but here's the thing though. It's just like in your prime years, like that's why you worry about your looks and shit like that, mentally, physically, genetically. That's why you worry about those types of things. As you get older, like you've probably already tried to do those things. Granted, you don't have kids, and nor do you. You can still do it, but you know you can do it, and it's not forced. Like. I think like what I'm saying is genetically it's inherent in us, and it's like,
no, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. Like I mean, it's like our bodies just want us to have babies. Subconsciously, we don't even know it, but that's why.
So many people get hung up and like think that happiness is going to come from another individual, basically, right? Like, oh man, if I
think
look
some
this certain
does.
way,
Some does.
If I shape myself enough, then somebody will love me, and then I'll be happy. That never happens. Realistically, that never happens.
Because you live with yourself.
Whenever you're like, oh, if I just mold myself enough to where somebody else will fucking love me, then I'll be okay, right? Never works that way. What you end up finding is, man, fuck it. So what? I have some fucking flaws. Great. Actually, those are fucking fantastic. And I've always been fine with them my entire fucking life. Why have I ever been worried about how somebody else views my fucking flaws?
Have you though? You need to stop with that. You're a little drunk talking right now, man.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
No, this is where I'm at right now in my life. It's
Really?
100% where I'm at in my life.
Okay.
I don't give a shit about my shitty tattoos or anything anymore. Like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck at all.
You still give a fuck because when you're at work, you're not that person.
Well, okay, not to that extent because there's always going to be a little bit of that, but it doesn't rule my life anymore.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't let it. You don't want to change yourself as a person to impress everybody
I'm
out
not
there.
doing that. I'm not doing it. If it would have happened, it would have happened already, right? Like I'm like 30. Like, dude, this is what it is. Like this is what it is.
But
this is what you fucking get.
But being 30, you can always still change it if your morals
of course.
change, whatever
If
it is.
he wants to, though, for him,
if I want
not
to,
for other
dude,
people.
Right.
Dude, I want to get, ripped again. I want to lift weights and fucking get like super stacked and shit. Like, sure, that can fucking happen, but it's for me though. It's not for anybody else, dude, because fuck everybody else. Dude, fuck everybody else. I don't give a shit.
So society inserted that. Is that inherent in us that we're that way, or did the way that this culture that we've developed put that into us?
Hold on. Can I say one thing really quick? The most insecure I've ever been in my life was when I was in the best shape of my fucking life. Literally the best shape of my life. I'm so insecure because I'm focused on how I look to other people, right? I'm so focused on this. I'm so like, oh man, I'm not like this or whatever. The least amount I ever got laid is probably when I should have been getting laid the fucking most. But I'm too tuned in on me. That's stupid fucking shit. I needed some weed and fucking booze to get over that shit. Just be like, you know what? Fuck all that. I'm just gonna fucking do me. And that's where it's been. I don't give a shit about anything else. I have the same amount of confidence that
you were also going through like sobriety at the time.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Which was a weird take on the whole thing,
and that was forced.
But dude, I was still, but I was still like, man, I'm so worried about how other people fucking view me, dude. Fuck all that. I didn't get laid then. I never.
You can't sit there and say that you don't get laid. You can't say that you don't give a fuck what people think about you.
I got laid more. I got laid more with like 30 pounds like heavier, and I look shittier and probably had like smelly feet.
Because you were in that crowd with the same people who felt the same you did at that time.
I don't know. There's something about just like confidence,
procreation,
like just overall like dude.
It's not confidence. It's just your body saying, "Hey, let's make a baby." And there was
I don't know, dude. I always worked that shit out, but I'm telling you, the least happy that I was, like relationship wise, was when I was probably the most fit to be like sleeping with other people, and I never fucking did because I was too self-conscious, and I was the most fit that I ever was in my entire fucking life. It's weird, like mental shit. Get over that shit. Get over it. Fuck it, man.
It is weird, man.
Fuck it. Get old, man. Get old. It's great. By the way, it's great. Get old.
Yeah.
You say at 30, like you're.
Yeah, get old, man. Get 30.
There's 60-year-olds out there that are like, shut the fuck up.
Well, when you're 18, if you're listening to this podcast, man, when you are 30, I tell every 18-year-old this. I'm like, dude, like life is a lot different when you're 30. Yeah. Like, it truly is.
Well, yeah.
No, and quit
As it
worrying.
should be.
Yeah.
Dude, quit worrying. Honestly, a big thing of this, even when I was saying, dude, quit giving a shit about what other people think of you. I know it's so cliche, right? But it's so true.
It's the thing you always talk
Quit
about.
giving a fuck. Quit. Do you.
Yeah.
Like, do you. Whatever you want to be doing.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Do
Just
it.
fucking do it.
And there are people out there who do that, and then they succeed. I mean, and success is different for everyone, but
you know,
there are people out there that do it, and they do it a lot better than others.
That can handle the crippling anxiety and depression, you know, a little bit better than
Of
other
the
people
dismal
and,
world that we live in.
And then somehow make it out the other end.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, if you guys fucking like this podcast, which I hope you do,
This is a trash podcast.
No, definitely not, man. It was,
kidding.
it was a lot different than what we're typically
I
normally.
wanted to bring up the Ben Sobers thing. How much time do we have?
I mean, we're a little bit over the hour, man.
Okay, my bad.
I mean, you can do it. I have to go pee really bad. And unfortunately, I don't have a bathroom downstairs, so I have to go upstairs and pee outside.
I've been pissing off your back deck.
Yeah.
Like twice tonight. So.
Nice. You are pretty quick with it, man. I got a long stream.
I got a short bladder or a small bladder.
A short
No,
bladder.
it's called. We've drank
Like a small urethra.
We drank in our 20s, and we would go to bed, and we would enlarge our fucking bladders and shit. So that's what's.
Is that how that actually works? Is that what causes that?
Oh, I'm sure, man. Like that's why we're gonna have that's why we're gonna have to pee a lot when we're older, is because what we did when we were in our 20s when we drank a shit ton. Because we drank, dude. You're talking 30 packs of Busch, 30 packs. I mean, dude.
All day.
Yeah.
Shooting cans.
And then you go to bed and you hold it in. I mean, you're doing that 4 or 5 times a week for multiple years. Like you're fucking your bladder up, for sure.
Did we stay on track tonight? Did we talk about positive things? Or was it more lighthearted things? It wasn't so much positive.
lighthearted.
It was lighthearted.
Yeah, it was lighthearted. Man.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll bring up the Ben Zopers thing later, even though I really would like to talk about that because I think that's important.
Let's hit it up outside, man. I mean, we were already over the hour, and no one's going to listen this long anyways.
Just look up Ben Zobrist if you get a chance, and my heart's out to that fucking guy. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And he's going to tell me about it here in a second. But I
He's
hope
dealing
you guys,
with some shit.
I hope you guys like. I hope you guys like this podcast, man. I know it's a little different than what you're used to, but we had to do something different. We're done with the dismal shit, man. Until we bring more guests on and we talk about what it is that they're an expert in.
Then more dismal shit,
Yeah,
Which is fine with the guests on there.
It truly is, man. But when it's just us three, I think we're gonna just start doing some more lighthearted shit, man, because we have a lot to say when it comes to this type of stuff. I could sit here and talk to you guys, and we just have a really great conversation without being negative, man. And any of our viewers that are and our listeners that just tune in, I want you guys to see the positive side of Jesse, Johnny, and I. I think that would be really cool, and you haven't really seen it from us.
I like fun stories.
Yeah, fun stories,
It
man.
was entertaining. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, these need to be entertaining more than anything else.
Exactly. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to all our junkies out there.
Stay fly and ring the bell.
Ding, ding.
Just unplugged and canceled the whole thing.